All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rechak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the elder bishops, the elders of Great Millstone, who rule very well, very beautifully. Double salutations be unto the Akim, out here pushing this gospel and truth and sincerity to the best of their ability, given to them by Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the elect scattered abroad. May the election of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Lord willing, fall upon your houses. This is the brother Quanah Wath coming back at you, Lord will, with edifying lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Lord will. It is edifying, Lord will. It is straight to the point. I downloaded this new Bible app, and I want to say for the last, few weeks, it's been ultimately every day. It'll send me, sometimes multiple times a day, it'll send me, different little precepts, kind of like a, motivation, if you will, or inspiration, and again, it'll be different precepts, and it'll give you like a precept, and it'll break it, not necessarily break it down, but kind of give you, inspiration or whatnot. But this one's pretty heavy, so I wanted to ultimately, press the button on it, but this is the precept that ultimately sent me this morning, right? It says, and they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. And that's 1 Corinthians 7:31, right? And we understand that this world is the fashion of this world is passing away, right? Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is already destroying, this world socially, economically, just completely destroying it. And soon, right, physically, right, pursuing the 2 Peter 3:10, right, that we know that the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is finna destroy all this shit, man. Via ICBM nuclear missiles, as well as the chariots coming and sending out those laser beams, tearing down these buildings, these cars, right, these phones, all this shit that we see here today, right, especially here in America, right, where the greatest destruction is going to take place, right, all this shit that you see here, all of it is going to be destroyed, right, all the wickedness that you see the people committing and stuff like that. Hey, the Lord is finna get rid of those people, man, completely destroy these people, destroy who's in leadership, because, Esau is the one that's ultimately promoting it, promoting wickedness, and that's going to be done away with, right? When Yahweh Shai comes, right, we understand that everything, the way of life that we see it as of now is going to be completely just undone, right? So we see that, right? We see the fashion of this world starting to pass away, but I want to drop down, as it says, inspiration, right, which is heavy, right? It says inspiration. It says, while we can use the things of this world, of this earthly existence, we must not trust in them, right? Because as we read in 2 Corinthians 4, in verse 18, right, these things are temporal, right? You can't set your affection, right, on the things of this world, as it says right here. It says we must not set our affection and hopes on them, for they are passing away. The whole fashion of this world is going to change, so that the next world will be radically different from it, right? And the world to come is going to be a righteous world, right? It's going to be a ran according to the scriptures, or according to the words of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Not like what we see today, where a wrong judgment proceedeth, right? The scriptures are not being utilized, right? The scriptures are not being, set as the standard, right? Even though it is the number one most produced and bought book in the entire world, and has been for decades, man, decades, it's not being utilized, right? Which is ultimately, is why you see wickedness being, pushed at, at such a high, an alarming rate, right? Because the scriptures are instructions in righteousness. But see, when the scriptures are not being used, wickedness ultimately flourishes. It says the whole fashion of this world is going to change, so that the next world will be radically different from it. We should be focusing on the things that will last into the next world and forever, right? And that's ultimately what? Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, and this word, this truth, right? Let me grab this, right? This is Colossians chapter 3 and verse 1. It says, if ye then If ye then be risen with Hamashiach, seek those things which are above, right, where Hamashiach sitteth on the right hand of the Most High. Set your affection on things above, not on things on earth. That's right, right? So we got to ultimately, again, be focused, right, on Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, the kingdom to come, and this truth, right, this word, right, this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. You know, let me go to that word affection. We'll get some understanding of what that means, right? This phroneo, right, Strong's G 5426, phroneo, right? It says to have understanding, to be wise, to feel, to think. It says right here, here's the point, right? To direct one's mind to a thing, to seek, to strive for, right? This is what we got to be doing, right? We got to be seeking Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua in these times, right? That's Isaiah 55 and verse 6 and 7, right? Seek ye the Lord while he may be found, right? This is what we're supposed to be doing, especially in these times as we see this world coming to an end, as we see, things unfolding, right? We're in Jacob's trouble, and it's only going to continue to get worse. We're seeing tensions rise between America and Iran, right? You got Iran basically, moving their submarines, into the Strait of Hormuz, and then you got America sending over its destroyers and whatnot, right? Its fleet over there, right? Which is ultimately, prophecy, right? That the gathering of the nations, right? Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua mustering the host of the battle, right? The valley of Yahweh Shaphat, right? That judgment, we see prophecy unfolding, man, right? So as we see that, what should we be doing? We should be, again, focusing on this truth, right? Focusing on Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, Let me go back and I'll read that again, right? Verse 2, it says, set your affection, right? Our desire, our passion, right? Our focus, right? On things above, not on things on earth. That's right, right? Because again, as we understand that the fashion of this world is going to pass away, right? But this word, this truth will never pass away, right? But it will last into the next world, right? And matter of fact, it's going to be the standard of living, right? According to the words of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, is going to be the standard of living, right? That if you're not following the commandments, you're ultimately going to be put to death, right? And really, the Israelites, we're going to be perfect, right? So we're gonna literally have the law, statutes, commandments written in our minds, which is ultimately what the second covenant being established. But when it comes to the heathen, they're going to have to keep the law, statutes, commandments too, right? And if they don't, they're going to perish, right? This is what's coming, right? Let me grab another precept. Right here in Wisdom of Solomon 6 and verse 11, it says, wherefore set your affection upon my words, desire them, and ye shall be instructed. Right? We should be focusing on Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua and this word, this truth. Right? What does it say in Revelations 1 and 3? Blessed is he that readeth. Isaiah 34 and verse 16, seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. This should be our goal every single day. Every single day. From the time that we wake up, from the time that we go to sleep. This is what we should be focused on. This is what we should be, putting our mind and our time to. Right? It's focusing on Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua and this word, this truth, right? It says, wisdom is glorious and never fadeth away. There you go. Right? The fashion of this world passes away, right? But this word will not pass away, right? I say, yea, she is easily seen of them that love her, and found of such as seek her, right? It says, she prevented them that desire her, in making herself first known unto them. Whoso seeketh her early shall have no great travail, for he shall find her sitting at his doors. To think thereof upon her is perfection of wisdom, and whoso watcheth for her shall quickly be without care. For she goeth about seeking such as are worthy of her, showing herself favorably unto them in the ways, and meeteth them in every thought. Right? Meaning you're going to be moving with wisdom. Right? When you ultimately set your affections, right, upon this word, this truth, right? Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, and what happens, right? You're ultimately going to be moving different. You're going to be thinking different and moving different. Right? You're going to be moving according to the scriptures, right? Rather than moving according to the flesh, right? Moving according to the world. You know, you're going to be different, right? It says, for the very true beginning of her is the desire of discipline, and the care of discipline is love, and love is the keeping of her laws, and the giving heed unto her is the assurance of incorruption, right? It says, and incorruption maketh us near unto the Most High. Therefore, the desire of wisdom bringeth to a kingdom. That's right. Right? So when we desire this word, right, and we ultimately, because the scriptures say, be ye not hearers only, but doers as well, right? Roughly paraphrasing James 2, you know, James' 2nd chapter, right? Hey, well, guess what, man? We're going to be moving in a way which is pleasing unto the Lord, and the Lord will do what? Right? The Lord will deliver us. Lord, will we be part of the elect, man? You know, because the Lord loveth them that dwell with wisdom. You know, the Lord loveth those who have set their affection upon him, right? Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, right? Upon them, right? My bad, them, right? Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, right? Because they're not one, right? But there are two, right? Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, the Heavenly Father and his only beloved begotten Son, right? When we ultimately focus on Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai and this word, this truth, right? That is what's pleasing unto them, right? Which the Lord will, again, we be part of the elect when we do that, and that will allow for us to be delivered, man. You know, that will allow for salvation, right, to be brought upon us. You know, again, Lord, will we be of that number, man? You know, so continue to focus on Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai and this truth. You know, that's all we can really do at this point, man. Right? And as we read in Proverbs, the 4th chapter, right, wisdom is a principal thing, right? I mean, it's the top choice, you know? So get wisdom and get understanding, you know? But that's all I got, man. Just quick, you know, I just kind of wanted to press the button. Flowing in the spirit, Lord wills, edifying, Lord will, straight to the point. I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, B'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, B'Hashem, Rachak, Kodash, double honor to the elder apostles, the elder bishops, the elders of Great Millstone. Till next time I say shalom.